My name is Emily, and I'm 34 years old. I have ulcerative colitis. The symptoms were like, oh, this is weird and not normal, to it's bleeding to the point, I mean, it's alarming enough to see blood in the toilet, but this is bleeding to the point where you feel like you're gonna need a transfusion. It's shocking. Your gut is being shredded from the inside out. It just feels like layers of tissue are just coming off. Like you're being burned from the inside out is the only way to describe it. So I went to a doctor and I had a colonoscopy. After the colonoscopy, they diagnosed me with ulcerative colitis. And I called my doctor and I said, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. The pain is excruciating, it's debilitating, I can't work, I can't leave the house. And he said, well, this is what you have. This is how life is gonna be. On my second visit to him, he drew on his little whiteboard, here's this rainbow of drugs. And he said, starting here with these anti-inflammatories, and then slowly progressing into steroids, and then moving on into immune suppressors, which are very expensive. And if those don't work, then we can remove your intestines. And so this was my option. My goal was to get pregnant, and I really wanted to have a baby. And I thought in my mind, there's no, in the beginning, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to have a child. They're going to take my intestines out. I'm going to be sick my whole life. If this is how my life's going to be, I'm done. Like, suicide was definitely on the horizon. I did a lot of research and I learned about probiotics, and I tried to make some adjustments in my diet. I thought, okay, is it wheat? Is it dairy? Is it eggs? I tried a little bit of the carbohydrate-specific diet, and despite all of this, I was still having major symptoms. Blood, the whole gamut of, I was in the same spot. In my mind, I was dying. And at that point, I felt like I'd hit what I call the end of the internet. I had read crazy cures, from anything from eating worms to curing yourself to, the opposite end of the hardcore drugs. I was reading the reviews of the carbohydrate-specific book on Amazon, and there was a woman commenting on it. It didn't seem like she was talking about her site, it was just her comments. And I can't remember exactly what she said, but it just hit home to me. I was like, okay, this lady is my kindred spirit. She knows what I'm going through. So I Googled her, and I found myself on her blog. And I looked up her credentials, because I'm a real snoop that way. And she's a nutritionist, and she had this extensive background. And in her blog, she talked about having ulcerative colitis as well. This is Galena. I started working with her, and she put me on phase 1. But there's this huge shift in phase 1. It's like a miracle. It's the most amazing feeling ever. It was just like this veil lifted. The colon defense formula is obviously huge and key. And the medicinal clay is it's interesting in the sense that it's you're drinking clay, but in a weird way, it feels so good. All of the supplements feel good. Like you can tell that your body is open to receiving it. The clays, I don't exactly know how the science of the clay works, but it really does feel like it's pulling the toxins out. You know, both of them are kind of working synergistically to heal you. And then also the intestinal comfort tea is pretty self-explanatory, and I leaned on it really heavily because that's what it was to me. And being able to taste your medicine, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I don't like the way things taste or this or that. To me, as soon as something hits your tongue, your whole body starts responding. And that's how the intestinal comfort tea was for me. It was just a reminder that was my ritual. I wasn't drinking coffee, you know, I wasn't having a glass of wine at night. I was healing, and that was my relief and comfort. So it's appropriately named. And phase 1 is, it's not like, oh, it's, you know, it's a week for everybody. It depends on how severe it is. It also depends on how committed you are. So if you're not committed to it and you're cheating and you're eating other foods, you're completely destroying the process. It's very strict, and if you do it right, it works very fast. The way Galena's program works is there's multiple levels to it, and the supplements are part of it. But if you take the supplements and you don't follow her food suggestions, and you know, if you're taking the colon defense formula but you're not on the elemental diet, when she was working with me, for me, you know, I don't think I would have had the same results. But all of it is a finely tuned machine that she's put together. The success rate is amazing, and I know for myself that it totally changed my life. Phase 2, that was a total game changer. That I went from like being good to perfect. I feel like I'm cured. I have no symptoms. I have no pains, no headaches, no arthritis, no night sweats. I'm not bleeding. I never ever feel anything wrong with my stomach at all. It's the most normal it's been. I mean, even before I came down with ulcerative colitis. And now I'm 15 weeks pregnant. So it's kind of a good and a bad thing, but like I'm packing on the pounds. And you know, I'm a normal, healthy, pregnant lady.